Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Picard Cast. I'm your host this evening, Rebecca, and I am joined, as I am every week, by my incredibly talented, lovely co-host, Brooke. Welcome back, Brooke.
Oh, that's so nice.
Well, you are. You are incredibly talented. Making stickers and shirts and stuff for the show.
Fest here. Yeah. Yeah, keep a watch out, everybody, for a chance to win the stickers. And we are going to also have a giveaway of our visitor badges.
From New York Comic Con.
Yeah, from New York Comic Con. So
yes,
keep a lookout. It's exciting. I haven't worn mine yet. Ooh, I might wear that one on my jacket tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I've got mine on my backpack.
Nice.
That I use for work. So I got my visitor's badge. I'm ready to go whenever Starfleet, beams me up. I'm ready. Some people wait for that letter from Hogwarts. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for that subspace communication from Starfleet Academy. That's what I'm waiting for. We are not alone, though. We've utilized the transwarp conduit, Brooke. I hope you don't mind. I activated the transwarp conduit. I threw us in there, and we've in just a second, really, we're back with Dan, who lives all the way in California. Hello, Dan. Welcome back.
Hello again. Thanks for having me. Yeah, that conduit business hit me back. I was like, I think it was like 65 light years or something like that. But I'm back. Everything's good.
Awesome.
I'm here to communicate. Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It has been a whole 7 days since we last talked about the show. 7 days for you, listeners.
We tried to clean up around here in Chateau Picard because, the last time we had such a big party, last time you were here, it took all 7 of those days to get the mess cleaned up.
Non-stop cleaning after.
I'm sorry I threw up in your kitchen. I apologize.
It's all right. The dog had already done it anyway, so.
Well, I felt like that was the spot. That's what I was getting at. I just figured I'd do it here.
Oh, is that where we do this? Okay.
Yeah, when in Rome.
We're thinking about painting a target there.
Oh, man. Good times. Good times. So, yes, we are back to discuss Part 2 of Descent. Last week we discussed Part 1, and I feel like what's really interesting about this two-parter is that Part 1 has a certain feel, talked a lot about emotions and feelings and how they're not negative or positive. This episode, however, has a very different tone, although certainly we are dealing with emotions. And, Dan, you had brought up a point last week about how you felt that Star Trek was still relevant. It didn't feel dated. And I think as we talk about this episode, I drew sort of a conclusion to how this episode relates to something in our own history that I think it was meant as a parallel, because I didn't have to draw the line too. It wasn't too subtle. I felt like it was pretty obvious. But we're going to talk about how this episode is kind of a parable for Nazi Germany. I don't know if you guys felt the same way.
Well, the banners and the red and the black and the following blindly, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some symbolism there for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about master race and offering hope to a people who are lost. So we're going to talk all about that as we did last week. And we're going to talk about, we're going to break down this episode for you. So last week we got to know Dan a little bit. So we're going to jump right into our breakdown of Descent Part 2, which originally aired on September 20th, 1993. So about 3 months after Part 1 aired. This episode was written by Renee Echevarria, directed by Alexander Singer, who also directed the first episode. And the synopsis is, before Lore can run risky experiments on Geordi, Troy, and Picard, the three seek a way to reboot Data's ethical program that Lore switched off to pull Data to his side.
Not another reboot. Jeez. Oh,
I know. Jeez, all these reboots. Can't we get something original? But this time we actually would like a reboot of Data's ethical programming. So our episode opens up right where part 1 left off. We've got the Borg, Lore, and Data are in this large hall in the Borg compound. As Brooke told us last week, this compound is the Brandeis Bardem campus of the American Jewish University, which apparently has been used in many movies and TV shows. So that's pretty cool. But the interior set they actually built for this episode. Lore calls the Borg his followers. There's also some shots of Lore and Data sort of standing on the dais above everybody. This is where you kind of start to get the sort of the Hitler narrative being shown to us of Lore appointing himself like the leader of these Borg.
This would have been the perfect time for him to have the mustache. Just saying.
It would have. This would be the moment where evil Lore should have a mustache or a goatee or an eye patch. Something. Right? It would fit right here.
The mustache might have been a bit on the nose, but I see what you're going for.
Right,
Yeah.
yes. Now he's tying someone to the railroad tracks. I mean, he's gone full villain.
Does he have a cape? That's he needs a cape.
Yes.
Okay, good.
He has a cape. Absolutely. All villains have
Piano in the background.
exactly.
Your imitation of a piano was so good. I thought you were actually playing the piano there for a second.
Pretty crazy. I know. I fooled a lot of people with that one. Listen to my live concert on my podcast coming up next week. It's all tongue piano.
So Picard says to Lore, you've only taught these Borg to enjoy killing. And Troy says that she can sense feelings in Data. And of course, he's getting them from Lore, who has the emotion chip that we spoke about last week. And, we see Picard try to get a wedge in between the two of them. I want Data to talk to me. Data, he won't let you talk. What do you think about that? Like, he's really trying to get in there. But Lore and Data are not letting that happen. Lore says that he's found his true calling, and it's to be the leader of these Borg, and he's given the Borg something to believe in. And this is where we start to get some exposition of where these Borg come from. So after Hugh, from the iBorg episode, had been returned to his cube, his individuality spread to all the other Borg, and it almost destroyed the collective because they became disoriented, they were lost, they couldn't navigate their vessel. Lore then promised them perfection as fully artificial life forms to get rid of the organic part and sort of create a master race, if you will, of completely inorganic beings. So that's our opening scene there. And then, go ahead.
Is the Borg are slightly organic because they're made out of people. Much
right.
like Soylent Green, they're made of people.
Yes,
Sure.
The Soylent Green of Star Trek.
Yes, the Soylent Green of enemies. But then again, it's also like sort of the ramblings of this crazy dictator also.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's trying to... saying he's given the truth and really he's just not. So yeah. Anyway,
well, now that they're individuals, right? They all have their own feelings and thoughts about what they want to do, and so if you eliminate the organic part, if you eliminate that part, and you just become fully machine, well, then you can more easily control that part. You know what I mean? Like, the idea being that you could throw off the organic human part of you and just be strictly pure, perfect machine. You wouldn't need that anymore. It's the promise he's made them. And as the episode unfolds, we'll see if he has a way to make that promise come true. We then get back on the Enterprise. We get acting captain's log. That's Dr. Beverly Crusher's in charge of the Enterprise. The skeleton crew that's been left behind, they cannot help with the search because they've got limited sensors because of something naturally occurring in this planet. We meet Ensign Tate. She's a new character here. She has only been on the Enterprise for 6 weeks. She's wearing a blue uniform, which means she works in the sciences department, but they have her working at tactical security. So she's very nervous. She's not really fully prepared to do this job, but she's clearly doing the best that she can do here. And we're going to get to know, we're going to see her throughout this episode. Riker tells Beverly that he cannot reach Captain Picard. She tries to call the captain. They can't reach him. But here comes the Borg ship, shows up again, and the Enterprise starts beaming people off the surface. They get almost everybody before they have to raise shields and leave, and they leave behind 47 people on the planet. So back on the planet, Riker and Worf, they're like, everybody regroups out of sight, and Riker tells Worf, we could be on our own for like a good couple of days here, because even if Beverly makes it back to Federation space, gets the other ships, and they come back through the transwarp conduit, that could be a couple of days. So this group on the planet, they're totally cut off. They have no resources. They don't have replicators. They are stranded on this planet, which is a tough situation, obviously. But, of course, they're going to continue their search and try to find Captain Picard and try to find Data. So what do you guys think of like this opening setup here, where they've set up that there's some people on the planet, there's some people on the Enterprise, and they've split everybody up? What are you guys thinking about this this opening scene so far?
It's definitely raising the stakes. Mm-hmm. It's you know what I mean? We have 47 people that are, I don't want to say unaccounted for, but they haven't been evacuated from the planet. So it does raise the stakes a little bit. But it also, if I may be so bold to say it, it also kind of focuses on their strengths, because they are going to have to be there for a while. They are going to have to kind of get by without all the amenities that come with the Enterprise, and being cut off like that. I think this is something where this is their strong points.
That's a great point. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be forced to rely on their skills of sort of basic survival skills.
Totally.
Yeah, with zero help from the Enterprise at this point. Yeah. What about you, Brooke? Any thoughts here?
I wouldn't want to be them in that situation.
Me neither.
I
don't blame you.
Just knowing the modern conveniences that I like, that I have, that I am sad without, I think I would be useless.
I'm sure
so
that's
now
not
people
true.
are going to come for me when they turn into zombies in the zombie apocalypse. But, hey, eat my brain, whatever.
You'll provide sustenance.
Yes. Sustenance for the new order of individuals.
New order of individuals.
I was off the cuff here. I was trying to come up with something. That's all I could come up with.
That's quite all right. So we're back at the Borg compound now. Data puts Picard, Troy, and Geordi into basically like a holding cell or the brig. Troy says she only senses hatred and anger from Data, and Data's like, there are no other emotions, only Zool. Like that's like pretty much where he's coming from. He then says that there are sacrifices that have to be made for the greater good. What that means at this moment, maybe we're not sure, but he's talking about that things are going to have to be sacrificed, and maybe people will have to be sacrificed. And then Data then takes Geordi's visor, which is pretty cruel. And of course, we're going to find out in a minute here a practical reason why he's done that. But I mean, Geordi without that visor is completely blind. And so for Data to take it from him, it reduces Geordi to a sense of probably feels pretty helpless. Probably feels like it's a pretty terrible thing what he's done here, taking the visor away from him.
He's helpless. He's betrayed. He's humiliated.
Yes. I couldn't think of the word. Humiliated is the right word. Thank you, Dan. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so it's